we're going to do a trial run. I want my loop pretty much in the center of that piece of rubber. This way and this way. And when it's hot, I'm going to put it in. I'm not going to push too hard because I can push it right through the rubber. I'm pushing it just hard enough to catch the rubber so I can lift it up. And as soon as I lift it up, I'm going to touch this corner to that corner and that corner to that corner. And then continue that all the way across. Now I've got all of this surface is going to be hot. So I've touched this to this and that to that. And then I zip it up between the two. And then I'm going to turn it sideways, and I'm going to hold this parallel to the floor so that I can then put it together over the loop and then do my fingers like that. Okay? And so then I'm going to come back, and a lot of times it's square here, square here, square there. And if it looks like the square sticks up too much that it could rub the cheek, I'm going to take a pair of scissors. I'm going to trim off the edge of the square towards this, and you don't want it close to the plastic. You want it to stop about right there. Trim it this way, trim it that way, trim it that way, trim it that way, and then I'm going to torch it again and do the same thing again. Okay? So now, when you put water on here, I mean, this thing was soaking wet. Look, if you get water on the hot side, it'll never loop. You want to be careful. All I do is dip my finger in and just wet that right there. And I don't want it with rubber all over it. I want to find a place where there's no rubber. Because all I want is for this not to stick to it, right?
Right.
Okay, and then I'm going to take my torch and I'm going to do it to about the count of 8. I want it bubbling. You want to get it to a sharp tip, okay? Straight up and down, and I want the tip of that light right on top of it. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So see how it's bubbling? So I'm going to take this, I'm going to hold it with both fingers, put the loop right in the middle, touch it, and lift it up, wet my fingers, and push this, touch that corner, and touch that corner, and then push it together, wet my fingers again, come this way, and do my fingers. See how I did that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and I'm doing it with gloves on. I usually don't use gloves. Okay, so my seam should be right in the center, and it's stuck here because my torch turned off and I had to heat it again. But you do not want to be able, now when I cool this, I'm not going to cool it yet because I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to find any areas I need to trim. I'm going to trim that just a little bit right there. I'm going to trim that like that, and I go right to that wire. I don't want this to be a sharp corner. And then, and when I heat that, I'm going to do a little bit right there. I'm going to leave that alone. Okay? Now, I'm going to heat it up again here and here, and I don't want to torch the pink. Now, I need to turn on that cold water. It comes toward, yeah, turn towards me. Which way? Cool. Real slow. I don't need to waste water. All right, now look. I'm going to come right here on this corner because I want that to be smooth. I'm going to do it there. I'm going to do it there. I'm going to do it there. Now, that metal's going to be hot. So I'm going to put this in here first, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do this round, making sure those corners are round. And then I'm going to hold it between my fingers, pushing with like this all the way back and cooling it off, okay? That water is very cold. And I think that's hot, if that button's right. Is that button right? I think it is, yeah. So. Okay, now this is done. Now look, no rotation around the wire. Can you see that?
Right.
No rotation, okay? Now I'm gonna do the other side, and this time I'm gonna take my glove off because see, I spray this in the clinic. So by the time I get back here and get everything ready, it's disinfected.
Right.
So now I can use my fingers. And back here where this wire is exposed, when I do it, you'll hear a sizzle, but that's why I wet my fingers, because it never burns me because I wet my fingers.
Right.
Okay? And I don't want my fingers to stick to it if you've ever had hot glue, right?
Right.
Okay, so I'm gonna do the other side, and I'm gonna make sure, see, where there's rubber here, it may be that we need to heat this up and get all that rubber off of there. You know, take a brush and brush it, okay? But I'm gonna find a spot that there's, see that there's some right there, and that's why it's stuck. Get all these, get everything out from underneath here.